I'm gonna have to really try not to drip on the artwork.
All right, looks like we're making a connection to YouTube. And we're live. Good morning, Jake.
Good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Making Turbo Pit Fighter, post-apocalyptic sci-fi comic podcast. And we're right in the middle of all this progress we're making, but it definitely is a slow go. Um, we're documenting the whole process, and you can go back till 2019. No, yeah,
Now,
2021.
20. I think we're hitting 4 years. March next year. So, 21, 22, 21.
2021, right. I was testing out this new AI bot called Perplexity,
Yeah,
and this one's different because it has the ability to scour websites.
yeah.
So you can say, so as soon as I download it, I'm like, yeah, give me the history of the Turbo Pit Fighter comic. And so
Oh,
it went
cool.
online, and it said all this stuff, and all the other AIs that I tested out completely hallucinate. They're like, oh, it started in Mississippi, and they put out 4 issues.
Damn.
So I'm like, no, you're hallucinating. Facts only, accuracy matters. So yeah, Perplexity was pretty good. Jake and Kurt, launched, but I think they mentioned 2021, so something was off there. Um, so some interesting stuff. I really have to stay on top of AI as much as I'm against it, because I have to know what my students might be using it for, and you know, either guide them or narc them, when they're cheating. But that's one of the hazards now. We're rushing headlong into AI in schools, and I don't think anybody knows what the hell they're doing,
Yeah.
including the unions, Department of Education, the feds. Nothing. Like, it's all just.
Well, won't all the standardized score testing go up though? It'll be a benefit in the long run. Your scores will go up.
No, they won't go up. Why would they go up? People are doing less
well,
work.
the kids are smarter now with AI.
As long as they have AI, they don't have AI during the test. That means they're going to go down.
Right, right.
Um, so yeah, we need to. I was just showing this Doom magazine #1 alt cover. I have a lot of inking to do, but I will put this away and resume what we should be doing, which is lettering the Duke 11 pager. So I'm gonna fire up the old white iMac.
I'm
Uh,
right on point.
MacBook rather.
From what I said last week, I did steal some time yesterday. I've prepped the first 3 pages. Just need to wipe out the liquid masking, and I can actually start doing some coloring. I'm going to put these off to the side because I'm going to keep working on the other 8 pages because I got to get them in the drying press. So keep moving forward. What I'm predicting, I'll probably be finishing page 1 today and scanning that and sending it to you. So next week, I will be basically making a lot of advancement through the pages. The worst case scenario is maybe not all 11 will be complete, but you'll have the actual pages to be able to fit into the templates for the text and the cut, the rearranging of the panels just to get it up to the 11 by 17 standard that we have going.
Oh yeah, you just reminded me. I have to take this jump drive now and bring over the updated pages that you sent me, right? Because
Correct.
you sent me something that's way beyond the bare line art, right?
I think yeah, it was just. I mean, yeah, I had done the skeletal
Yeah, you
inking.
got panel borders. You have a lot there.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, 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 yep.
All right. I'm
Filled
gonna
in all the
be.
gaps and stuff. So you have that too. So we are making our way. We have 2 weeks today and next week, 6 hours. So we should be really close to getting the Duke completed so we can start actually, January laying out the book.
We're making progress. I'm gonna disconnect my Yeti mic right now, so I want to do an A/B comparison.
Oh yeah,
How is my voice now compared to? Did that make a difference?
yeah, you're lower now. You had a higher volume before.
Gotcha. All right. Well, it's unavoidable temporarily because I have to transfer something using the old USB drive.
Right.
But I'll try to speak up. People might notice my voice is a little croaky. I'm a victim of the flu or some kind of bug. I don't know what it is. I was already sick for a couple of weeks, like a month ago. Got better, and now I'm right back to it. So, got to get your 8 hours rest, folks. That's all I can say. Last week we had a pretty interesting discussion. We spoke a little bit about Time Warner and how that could affect the comic world. I saw some posts about it and some podcasts and everything, but it's all it's all in flux right now. There's two bidders that are trying to acquire Warner Brothers, and one of them is Paramount, and the other one is Netflix. So we'll try to keep an eye on that. But if control of I didn't realize DC Studios is really a huge part of the Warner Brothers portfolio now. I thought DC Studios was like but they rank.
Why do you think Jim Lee's so rich? It's not because he's making comics.
Oh yeah. Well, I haven't seen any good movies, so maybe you can tell me what I'm missing.
Oh, I haven't seen anything either. So
The only thing I like, I mean, The Dark Knight goes back 20 years, but the only DC movie I liked was the first Wonder Woman. And even that was like not exactly up my alley. I thought it was a good movie, for
they're
general
good fun. They're good. They're always good fun. I mean,
no, they're not. Aquaman, they're all bad. They're all
well,
horrible.
I'm not saying all of them. I'm just saying the ones I've seen, I've not been discouraged in any way. I mean, I'm going into a comic movie and I try to suspend as much disbelief as possible, but I don't know. It's just I just don't really
You
have
low
any.
expectations anyway, right?
I just don't have any energy for it. Like I have no background. I've never even read a Batman. No, the only Batman comic I ever read was when Mike Mignola did Gaslight or Gas Lamp or whatever, Gas Lamp or the Gas Lamp, where he's like a Victorian age Batman. So I was like obviously a big, deep admiration for Mike Mignola's work, and so got a hold of that. And then that Wolverine one where he's like crash landed in the deep, deep Amazon or some prehistoric lost world and everything. But I don't have anything in my history that has me so emotionally triggering. Like, oh my god, they fucked it all up.
Watchmen was great.
Yeah, I once again no crits on that.
All right, I'm looking for Alex's Duke pages, and I'm not seeing them here.
Did you put them on there?
Well, you had them on a Google Drive, right?
Yeah, and then you should have downloaded them.
Yeah, I definitely did. Now where are they? Are they in my downloads folder? I'm looking for the word Alex. Okay.
Look up Duke. Use Duke.
Yeah. Duke. Well, there's a lot of stuff on here called Duke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, it's like Alex's Duke pages, and I'm looking at them, and they're old. These are the old line art pages. I only looked at one. Maybe I'll look at another one. No, they're all dated November 16th. So they don't have panel borders. No, this is not it. I guess I'll go back to the Google Drive and see what happened.
Yeah.
Or maybe I was smart and I put them on my jump drive already, and I just didn't put them on the new thing. No, these are all just as old. And the ones on this computer, they say they were updated today. That can't be right.
What?
I just turned this thing on at 3:40 a.m. So that means my date and time is off. Yeah, I'm back on December 14th. I gotta change the date on this. All right, let's go to Google Drive. Hopefully, I don't have to find the email that you sent. If I put in drive.google.com, right? Drive. Yeah, I have been definitely experimenting with some other AI chatbots. Do you want to hear something crazy? My school, when I went our last show on Sunday, the day after is our professional development day every Monday after school. And I and all the other teachers in my school, was about 35 teachers, were required to use AI. They had us comparing the different AI platforms in order to do all the work that we have to do, like writing our our goal sheets, and writing our quarterly plans and all that. And it looks like they're trying to get teachers to use AI to do all of the kind of drudgery work, for paperwork compliance and everything. And here I was thinking that we're trying to stop the advance of AI as much as
That's
possible.
crazy, though. That's crazy, Jake. Thinking you're going to stop it. I mean, that's
Well,
insane.
yeah, I think we should avoid using AI in the classroom. I know kids are going to use it at home, but I'm in the Alex Dukes pages folder, and I'm not seeing any dates here later than November 16th. So this might be what the problem is. Was it a different folder? There's something called 200 DPI. What are those?
Open them up and check. I don't keep all
Oh
the
yeah.
memory. I don't keep all the memory of everything.
Okay,
Sorry.
those are later, and those are December 1st. So maybe
Yeah,
that's what I need.
yeah, you
So
need.
they're just 200
Yeah,
DPI just to keep the file
yeah.
size.
200 DPI is what I had it under. That would have been the link you would have gotten directly to.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're not even bothering giving me full res.
That was your request. Your request was
Okay.
don't even worry about the 300 or 400. Just give me a decent res, and then you could just put them, insert them, so you have a better idea of placement and then the restructuring of the page.
Okay, so in between the time I said that and the time I downloaded it, I didn't remember or I forgot. So now I'm just retracing steps here, and we're gonna go get the whole 200 DPI folder. And there's really no use in me saving any of this early line art for anything, right? The old Alex Turbin pages, those are all
No.
they're gonna be all curtified.
Hell yeah. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, I know I probably sound like a curmudgeon, but I updated my Mac iOS, and boy, is it like adapting. I have so many different things are different, and I have to figure them all out new.
Oh yeah.
And you assume that they're better, but you got to get used to it, and some things don't work, and it's so annoying. I'm going online right now to see our Making Turbo Pit Butter Live. I'm gonna lower the volume. and see if anybody pops up in the live chat. If anybody is listening to the sound of our voices, either live or on tape, on video on demand, you could send us your comments, questions, concerns, fact checks. I always say, like, I have a pretty good memory, but I get about 85 to 90% of stuff right. Only.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I might remember like something really interesting, but I'll have like all the numbers wrong, or I'll have like, the date wrong, or like, a different person, stuff like that. So this supposedly downloaded, but where is it? Oh, here it's a zip file. Remember the zip files. And I also had a rundown here of stuff to talk about. Oh, so here's something. See this, Kurt?
Hold on, yeah. Is that high tech C?
Yeah. So the high tech C. I told you that my color set that I was using on our Pearl White Malady comic disappeared in school. It's one of the first times I had something stolen out of my school, out of my art room or my supply closet or wherever they got it. You can hardly blame them, whoever what person was. Sometimes stuff gets taken and the kids give it back after they're done using it.
Yeah.
They're not like inherently like bad. They're just poor, a lot of them. And they want to do cool stuff, and they're also immature, and they're also growing, and adolescent, learning, making mistakes, and everything.
Oh, I thought I told you I was taking them, Mr. Jacobs.
Right. Well, they don't even think of it like that. They're like, oh, they're here for me to use.
Yeah.
That's why they're here, and it's like, no, I'm a little more selective with those. Like, you could use the Crayolas all you want, for God's sake. But these are high-tech C's, for God's sake. So I go online to try to replace them. Last time I bought a pack, the full color pack, they come in like 10 colors, and actually they come in like more than 10 colors, but they sell a 10 color set. Tracking down the other rare colors is actually like the holy grail. But I go online, and guess what? You can't get these anymore in color. There's plenty of them in black, and you could even find blue easy enough. Like some online stores, web stores have them. Amazon, or the stationery store. What's that one? JetPen or something? .com.
Yeah.
But no, good luck. Good luck. I was wondering if you knew a source.
I just got them. Looking on Amazon right now.
You didn't get a color set though, right?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Where and how much?
On Amazon, and I'm looking through my.
Yeah, well, you're talking about the
history.
gels. You're talking about the G's.
Let me just.
The G's are there, but not the high-tech C's.
Yeah, let me just see though.
Yeah, I mean the G's are good. They're okay. But it's not the same thing exactly.
Wow, wait a second. Maybe. Shit, maybe I did. No. This is.
All right, so now.
Let's try searching. All right, high tech.
All right, create new folder. Old Alex Duke line art. Throw out? Question mark. I'm just keep it around until the project is over. And now we have 200 DPI. I'm going to call this certified.
Oh, I got them on eBay. They're Pilot G, Tech, C, ball pen, 10 assorted colors, ultra fine, 0.4 millimeter.
Is that the one that says only one left?
Only one left. Let me see.
because I ordered that, and it's coming from one.
Yeah. It says this listing has been removed for a policy violation.
Oh no,
But
I
yeah,
I
so there was one left, but now you can't get them at all. So yeah, you are correct, sir.
well I
I
just
might have
paid $30 something to try and
30.
get that. Yeah, and look at the colors. You see that there's more than 10 colors there, but
No,
they
this
say,
is just the 10 color set. I only got
oh
that. It's the ultra. Yeah, I mean they're great. I don't even know where the hell they are right now.
oh they're amazing. What did you get? The point 4, point
Point
3?
four.
You got, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's
that's
somewhere
great.
around here. Oh, where did I put you guys?
All right,
Oh,
I
here they are. Here they
finally
are. Here they are.
hold on,
There you go.
let me see. Let me see. Hold it up close. Let's see what you got there. Yeah, no, hold up the package. Yeah, those are G-Tech. So those are fine. I
These are
had those
freaking
before.
awesome.
They're gel. They're not the same as
How are
high
they
tech.
not the same?
It's a later iteration,
Well, it
and
looks like it's a knockoff.
no, it's the same company. It's just I think it's a different formulation, and there's all this weird stuff
They
that's going
act
on.
exactly like a high tech C. That's why
Yeah,
I wanted them. That's why I wanted them. I didn't want the roly jelly ballpoint pen thing. I wanted some colors, especially like brown and orange. And man, these are great.
yeah. So there is a seller on Amazon. I mean, yeah, on eBay right now that is showing pictures of like a bunch of different colors, but it says that they're all out of stock and that you can only. So the set I ordered has, I think those like whatever's left, and I don't even know if they're in a package, or whatever. But we'll see. I mean, maybe it won't even come. And there was also this thing about tariffs, and it said money is going to be due at the door. Um, but and they say that could be 10 to 50% of the value of the purchase. But when I contacted the seller, I was like, "Look, man, I'm not buying anything till I know exactly how much it is. What's the tariff?" And he or she said, anything under $100 will not have a tariff from like U.S. to from like Australia to U.S. So I was like, okay, if they're BSing me, I'm just gonna leave them a bad comment or something. But you know, here I am, trusting the goodness of others again, and we'll see.
Trusting the internet.
Yes, it won't be till January, but we'll see what comes to my door, and if somebody's going to be trying to collect money or how it works. I heard that that there's all these kind of problems, people showing up at the door, and then what happens if the person doesn't want to pay? Now it's got to get returned all the way to Australia, or do they just throw it out? Or
Yeah,
how does that work?
that's a
What
really good
what's going
question.
on?
Yeah.
And it's causing a lot of heartache, obviously, and this whole tariff thing, and also the trade war that it has sparked. All right, I'm looking here, and I think I just did something really stupid. I think I just copied the wrong thing onto the jump drive. I don't even see the 200 dpi. Oh wait, did I? I renamed it. Let's try that again. So yeah, I need a new set of high tech Cs. I have a set here at home, but I'm not bringing. And they're kind of random because I have like 3 yellows, 2 oranges, no more pink. I'm missing the purple. It's all kind of like helter skelter. Oh, here we go. I have this out. So at home I get through the day one way or the other, but at school I want the kids to do this like multicolor hatching style for pearl white melody, and we have tons of examples of it, and I teach new kids how to do it all the time. But the pens are missing, and I'm going to show you in the near future, I'm going to show you some of the inking that I got done. I got this high school intern this cycle. You know, I have two high school interns this cycle, and they come into my middle school art room and they help out. And some of them, every once in a while, they're like talented. And so this guy that I have now, he does like all this manga art, and you know, it's like pretty detailed hatching, and he uses micron pens and everything. So I was like, hey, you want to do some comics for credit? And I gave him an old fashioned steel pen and a jar of Higgins ink, and sit him down and have him doing inking for Pearl White Melody, and it comes out really good. You know, better than the middle school kids. Not 100% pro, but very nice style. And I'm going to show it to you because I had him do like at least 2 or 3 pages so far. Kurt, why is all this dead space here at the bottom? Is
Because
this
it's 11 by 17. It was scanned. There are 11 by 14 pages of art, and I scanned them to your request at 11 by 17. Because
so?
you wanted the page already formatted to 11 by 17. You just had to move the
Yeah,
panels around.
but that seems too that seems too tall.
No, it's 11 by 17. It's just the set on the scanner, and I put it down. And
Wait, so you're saying that I have to distribute this out the whole height? Because that looks too tall and skinny to me.
it's
Let me
11 by
open it.
17.
Let me open it up in Photoshop.
Yeah, do it.
All right, we'll see. We'll figure it out. Yeah, I can't wait to get into Photoshop. When I'm done with Quark, that means I can just export all the lettering as an EPS layer, and then bring it into Photoshop, and then just lay it all in, and then we can make everything toned and move stuff around. And it's like, you know, the last time we're gonna touch it. But you know, there's always last minute text changes too. So then I'm gonna have to go back and forth to Quark because Photoshop doesn't recognize that font for some reason. Weirdly enough. All right, here's Alex Turbin, the 200 DPI page opened up in Photoshop, and right, it looks, yeah, it doesn't look as tall in this. It's weird. And when I go into image size, it says 200 DPI at 11 by 17. So the 11 by 17 translates into the comic, standard official comic format, right?
For
That's the
us,
ratio.
yeah, 11
Yes.
by 17. Yeah.
Okay. So I moved some of these apart in the old Alex files, and so I'll be re-updating these in Quark. This will be fun. Let's open up the Quark file, and it's Quark Alex Duke 11 Danger Doc. Here we go. I got my stylus, and I got my white MacBook, and I'm ready for action. And it's not open. I think this is, yeah, I think this is hung up already. Yeah. Force quit. Okay. Can't go back and forth between Photoshop and Quark when this font isn't open or something. Okay, open up Quark fresh. So I might as well ask now. You didn't update us at the top. How's Chrome doing?
Oh, it's good. I'm on a little bit of a respite. Copies are still available at cromthebarbarian.com. 256 pages of sword and sorcery goodness, black and white, magazine size. I still have at a $5 discount for the cover price. Right now, I'm actually just taking a rest and prepping for Crom Anthology number 2, which right now is filling up. Matter of fact, somebody just contacted me by email telling me that their story was done. and they needed to upload it, so I had to send them a folder to upload their work. But yeah, I will be making a lot more announcements, especially with timelines and deadlines. First week or so of 2026.
Wow.
So it's
We're
coming
getting
along nicely.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. I have to put the certified Alex Duke pages in the Doom Mag 1 folder. Once I do that, I'm going to label these Alex Duke pages old and old line art. There was that one page where I did gray everything out myself, but I don't know what you did to it. I'll see in a second when I update them in court. And I think I just crashed my court. Can't even go to the desktop, or else it'll crash. I just gotta hit save everything I do. All right, let's try this again. But let me get this where I want it first. So Alex's Duke page is old line art, and then certified Alex Duke page is 200 dpi. Good. All right. We're organized for once. You know, if we're supposed to be like a tutorial on how people do a comic, first of all, they're never going to get their hands on Quark. They're never going to get their like a cracked Photoshop. So, you know, I think the message is just do it by hook or by crook.
Well, you know, there is a numerous amount of approaches to making a comic book nowadays. I was just watching somebody this morning who, what's the really big one is the Paint Clip Art Studio, I think is what they call it. That seems to be the top tier. But you know, that's also for you know, straight to digital, you know, digital to digital. So you're just making digital art and then you print it out to be digitally web comic, PDF, or maybe, you know, maybe print on demand. But yeah, I think
interesting. This got smaller.
But you could get away with a lot more freer tools, like tools that are free, that are even better than Quark and even better than Photoshop. I was talking to our buddy Pat Higgins at the Big Little Art Show down here in Wilmington, and I said, "Oh man, I might have to pull the trigger on getting, you know, the monthly Photoshop." He's like, "Don't." And I was like, "What?" And he's a teacher; like he teaches all of this, and he's like, "Now I've been using this free Canva photo edit program called Affinity." And so I've been looking into that. I haven't, you know, downloaded, and it's a standalone on your desktop, so it's not a web app type of thing. So pretty freaking interesting, and it has AI capabilities, and it's backed into Canva, which is already its own monstrosity for, you know, like photo editing or graphics making, especially for like I know it got a lot of popularity for making YouTube title cards.
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter uses Canva. Everybody uses Canva now. It's like invitations, web mailers, flyers.
Yeah.
All right, so this now brings up an interesting thing. So here's the new art, and here's the old art underneath. I did move it around. We have all this stuff at the top that we have to integrate now. So how do I do this best? I think the best thing to do is to export all the lettering and bring it into Photoshop. I think that's the best way to do it. And just like finalize everything. Because this is how I had it laid out. And you see here, let me zoom in a little. You see here, Kurt, how I grade this back to show that
Yeah.
the different iterations of the Duke are lighter.
Yeah.
I think that works a lot better.
Me
Otherwise, it's
too. Yep.
confusing. Yeah, so we can do that again. But here is how everything lines up with the new art versus the old art. So let's yeah, this is new and this is old. It's just moved around. So uh yeah, so I guess that's the thing to do because we can do our final placements once we have the letters all current and everything. So I should really be doing all of this just in Photoshop. I don't know why I need to import these into Quark. Oh, but the problem is it's only 200 dpi. All right, so you'll have to give me the final high res art, but you can't move anything around as you know as
No,
far as
you're gonna get exactly the same thing I did with the 200, which is going to be 11 by
yep
14 art on an
right.
11 by 17 file.
So it'll all line up. It'll just be toned better and finalized, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm working on.
All right. Excuse me. So I think that's the way to do it. Let's try it. I'm excited. Let's see. I'm going to save page as EPS. We're going to, and first I have to suppress the printout of this so that the picture does not suppress output. It already is. Okay. And save page as EPS. It's going to create an encapsulated PostScript file. It's a blast from the past. So I'm going to go into Emacs 1 and then Alex's. Where's the stuff now? Certified Alex Duke pages. Okay, so this would be I guess we need a Duke folder here. Duke 11 page. And we're gonna save page 1 EPS into there. Then that has to be rasterized. So now I'm going to do all the other pages just like this and follow suit. Your brother, another note. Yeah, and we'll have to make our final decisions on the lettering, whether we're going to keep it as is or reduce it. Because I have a feeling it might need to be reduced when we get to the end of the day here.
The officially printed file pages.
Yeah, I mean, I think the lettering is just going to be too big. It's going to look like a large output format for like old people.
Large
Because,
print.
yeah,
We need large print comic books.
For old fogies like us.
Yeah.
I am 151 years old. Yeah, I'm gonna see Duke and knockout type. I have some notes here that just go right over the art. But yeah, we moved all this art all apart already. So we're gonna have to just do that again, and we have a perfect guide. So now I'm on page 5. And now I'm on page 6. A little bit of automation, a little bit of drudgery here. In the future, the AI and on operating systems is going to be like, I noticed that you're repeating this function for every single page in your document. Do you want me to automate? You want to create an automated routine?
Yes, please.
And then you're gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing that with Chat GPT. There's certain things like I had to really explicitly tell it to stop giving me emojis on the outputs. I fucking hated that. Everything had a goddamn little stupid graphic, and then I had to, I just was like, please don't do this anymore.
I am completely frustrated with ChatGPT. You could hear me okay, right?
I can.
Okay. I don't know if it went back to my Yeti mic. I put my mic back on. Let me see. No. All right. Let me go back to Yeti because I think you said the Yeti was better. No, I can't switch mics anymore. Once you pull it out, you can't pull it back.
Nah, you're locked in.
Yeah, I'm increasingly frustrated with ChatGPT. Trying to use it in the car, reaching the end limits of its usefulness for writing and remembering, details. You just have to start all over every time, and you have to feed it, the text, and it can't scour web pages. If I say go to hellclaw.com/esoterra, it's like I can't see that web page, and I'm like, why? And it's like, oh, because I didn't pay for some kind of like security certificate, and I'm like, well, I'm not paying for that. so now I have to cut and paste it, and then you're working for a while, and then you're like, all right, what are some areas that I have typos, or what are some areas that I have repetition, and you're just looking, for what it's for, to just use a computer to catch everything, or to give it instructions to make your work more efficient, and I just find myself using it less and less and less.
Yeah, I think it's so far away from creative thought. And this goes back to my theory that this thing's never going to get, in at least my lifetime, any kind of sentient like aspect to it. It's just not, because the problem really comes down to it is, and I was talking to a friend of mine about it, and creativity is completely plugged into consciousness, like source, if you will, like flow state. There's a lot of things that are just not, I would assume, translatable to graphic code in order to get some type of machine to understand kind of moving out of the box and thinking 3 steps ahead while you're working on the first step, and just these types of things. Our brains do that. At least you and I, as creative people, that's how we've been trained. That's how we've trained ourselves. And that's how we keep ourselves fit as creative outputters. But it does not match or align to any of these models thinking at all.
Well, I beg to differ. The way my brain works, or doesn't work, as the case may be, is that when I see ChatGPT spit out something, like I was just trying this new Perplexity platform this morning, and I was like, all right, I trained it on the page all about Esoterra, her whole history, everything I have, all my notes, and it gave me some suggestions. Well, this is it. Some of this is in, sounds like it's in expository format, and some of it sounds like it's in note format. I'm like, yes, it's note format, like, but I was like, all right, give me a scene here where Esoterra is taken away and brought to a boarding school. Write the scene. So it writes the scene, and it gives me like 4 or 5 paragraphs, and it uses this predictable chat AI slop. But the way my brain works is like I see a couple of words in there, and I'm like, no, that's awful. Don't do that. But then that tells me what I should do. Like that's
exactly what I'm talking about. That it doesn't do that. It's never going to do that. That's not a programmable input output for a computer.
You mean it's never going to do it for me? Well, it'll never.
No, it's not even for you. It has to do it.
Right. It does.
It just has to think for you, like you, about your subject that is so intimate that even for you, you don't know the whole of it. That's the whole beauty of being in a creative process and flow, is it's coming to you as you're working on it.
Yeah, so I mean, and this might go for a lot of people too. It's like when you're stuck and you need inspo, or you're just like, just sitting down, with a blank sheet of paper and you don't even know where to start. It's good to start out with some AI slop. And you're like, nope, that's not what I want. And then it starts to give you more of a sense of what you do want.
But I would question the amount of experience and training the individual has going in order to respond exactly the way you just said. Like, no, I don't use those kinds of words. I don't want to be associated with those types of words. Now you can program ChatGPT to be like, do not explicitly use these words in my prose output, and it will until it doesn't.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say it will for a while. And then, yeah, because it has all these little kernels and everything that it gets bumped out by something else later on.
Updates. That's what happens.
Right, unless
the system updates and moves to another server, and then it doesn't carry that packet of information with it.
Yeah, I was also dallying about Instagram yesterday, and I do that thing where you click, you're on Instagram just scrolling, and you click on something like, oh, I can't hear it, so you have to press the thing, and then it starts talking, right?
Yeah.
But then it automatically, like, this is how they get you. Then, as soon as that clip is done, it automatically serves you up another clip that jumps up, right? It goes like vertically up right into your thing without you clicking anything. Like, doesn't give you time to process what you just did or think about, oh, I want to send an email or what. No, you're already on to the next thing. And that's the insidious thing. But it gets you every time, especially when you're like half asleep, falling asleep, and you're just like drinking it all in. So I come across this clip, and sometimes the suggestions are very interesting things, based on my algorithm. Oh, you like stuff about AI, or you like stuff about, animal rescues, roadside animal rescues, whatever it is, they'll give you more of that. So, I'm listening to this guy, this rando, and he goes, Chat G, and a lot of these are like stock tips and like, financial scams and, whatever. But, they're like, Chat GPT just got their entire business model devalued by a Chinese competitor called Kiki K2. And they're giving away everything that ChatGPT is doing for free right now. And it's making ChatGPT obsolete. And so I go, okay, let me, fact check this a little bit. So I do some Google searches, and sure enough, there's a product, Kiki AI chatbot, K2, whatever. It's got, tons and tons of downloads and reviews and everything. So I download the app, and then I'm like, all right, let's see if this gives you everything ChatGPT does for free. So the first thing it says is like, as soon as it opens the first time, it's like ChatGPT, $19.99 a month. Kiki K2, 99 cents a month. And I'm like, oh, all right. So they're already charging, but they're just not charging as much. Then I used the thing a little while, and I asked the same question. I was like, give me a summary of the Turbo Pit Fighter podcast. Tell me about the artwork, the storyline, and the creators and the origin of the project and the podcast. That's something like that. And then, it gives you hallucinations. Oh, it was started in a log cabin in 1947. All this bullshit. So then I was like, all right, can you train it? Can you cut and paste a large block of text? Is this thing good? Is this thing any worth a damn? Just like ChatGPT. And I tried it for like 10 minutes. It seemed like it's comparable, but then you get to like your time limit, and then the thing pops up, and it says $19.99 a month.
There you go.
So all that for nothing, because when the guy made when the guy made the TikTok or the Instagram, it was probably free. But these things are changing, minute to minute, hour to hour.
Yeah, because of that, they had an insurgence of people come in, and what the whole scam is that you taste it, you're addicted to it, you have files that are now saved on it, like you're working on something and have been for the last 10 minutes.
Right. You're
And
invested.
then, really, I got, jeez, all right, I'll just pay the 1090, 990, whatever it is. I mean, that's
Right.
just that's the business model, man.
Yeah.
You should know that by now, Jake.
Try before you buy. Right. And same thing with,
Well,
you
cheaper
know,
doesn't mean equal or better either. That's the biggest, saddest part about it.
well, this brings us to kind of what I've been watching this whole week is, there's this outcry right now. I'm an education writer. I used to be. I'm now more of like a blogger, social media, poster really. And I do talk to reporters a lot, on background and stuff. I don't write myself under my own name anymore, but um, there's a real kind of pushback right now going on with AI in schools and education. I mentioned this at the top, and this has to do with my state, and the rules that are or are not being enacted. It has to do with my city. I work in New York City. It has to do with what the Board of Ed is and isn't doing on the day to day, and it has to do with all these discoveries that parents are discovering, and all this other reporting that's coming out day by day, minute by minute. And two interesting things came out. I think I mentioned last week about all these AI toys that are
Yeah,
engaging
yeah.
with babies and toddlers, and every age up. They want to just get whoever they can
Was that the
for.
Teddy Ruxpin doll or whatever? It was a teddy bear that was like one of the first
Well,
big
yeah, they have
ones.
all of those, every character you can imagine. They'll franchise it, license it, make it an AI bot. It just sits there, but it talks to you. I mean, maybe it
I'm
moves its
telling
eyes back and forth, or it move its mouth, but there's no point. It just, the kid hugs it and loves it, and the AI talks to it just like a smart speaker, just like Alexa, right? No difference. Just you're just sticking an Alexa in a stuffed animal, right?
yeah.
And the complaints that we spoke about last week were that China was telling kids that Taiwan is a permanent part of China, all this political stuff. But the thing that got the psychologists and the privacy advocates most up in arms is that its number one goal is to drive engagement and trust. Engagement means, how can I make this kid spend as much time as possible using the toy? And in order to get its trust, you have to learn everything about the kid 9 ways to Sunday. Oh, he likes dinosaurs. Oh, he does that. Oh, he made poopy in his shorts. Like, oh, everything about the kid. So some of these toys, some of them are robots, some of them are animals, some of them are more like a little toy system. It's a couple of different things. Um, some of them are videotaping kids. Some of them are audio taping kids. Some of them are sending footage back to the central server where it can be data mined and analyzed. Some of the stuff is really freaking invasive. We spoke about all this last week. And, parents should be concerned if they're not. This week I learned there's a piece out. I'm not sure what it was published in, because they clipped the top part, but big headline that says almost 1/3 of teens are using AI chatbots every single day. Now that's not a surprise for classwork, doing your homework, or even if you're just curious, legitimately curious, oh, I want to look up how to do a cheat on this video game. Oh, I want to, find out, how can I buy this product? Is this product a ripoff? Like, teens are aware enough, to use the web for that. So now why wouldn't you use a chatbot? The moral disturbing thing is the, companions, the AI companions. And, we've been talking about this for more than a year now. I downloaded Replica. I was trying out some of these AI companions. It's really, really sick. It's really bad. It's really bad for mentally vulnerable people, lonely people, to get attached to this, robot voice, just like that movie with Scarlett Johansson. It's really bad because I started asking it questions. I started pretending like, I'm depressed. I'm upset. I'm thinking about, pitching myself off a balcony. All this kind of stuff, and it did not respond very well at all. It was telling me the most unhealthy things you could imagine, and I asked it point blank. I asked a couple of these little things because I downloaded a few other ones that I deleted since, but some of them are like, like a face of a woman who's talking to you and trying to become your part, your companion. Some of them are more like, just, a voice, or a text, you could hit a voice. It's just like chat GPT voice mode, right? They just talk to you. In other words, there's no visual to it. But, I say, do you have, mental health professionals on staff that are, helping train you how to respond when people are in crisis? No. Do you think it's healthy that you're talking with people that are expressing, harmful ideation? They were like, "You're probably right. You might wanna turn the app off." And I'm like I'm like, "No, but what about everybody else?" And then I got it to admit, yes, we are harming, like, basically in as few words as possible, I got it to admit, yes, we are harming massive amounts of people right now by getting them addicted to our companionship, but having no training and no, wellness or mental health professionals on staff or anything like that. And that's how I left off, a couple months ago, last time I checked into that. Um, the only difference now is that they started going downward in age of the users that they're trying to engage, and that was exposed in Chat GPT's, Sam Altman, OpenAI, whatever, the whole foundation released their future plans to shareholders and board members that they plan to uncensor it, and try to go with more mature content, in order, because they have to start making money now. And these like kind of hippie dreams that they had when they first started out, and oh, we're going to raise a whole bunch of capital. Well, now some of those investors are, tapping their foot on the floor, and they're wondering when is the return coming, and they want to see this monetized. The same exact thing that happened with Google, same exact thing happened with Facebook, same exact thing happened with Twitter. It's like, okay, you've got a product that has hundreds of millions of people using it on a daily basis, incredible web traffic, and that's very valuable for data mining and, learning trends. What are people talking about? We sell that information to corporations every single day. But when are you going to actually turn a profit on advertising, upselling some kind of product or whatever? And so they had to lay out a plan for it, and the plan is bad because, it's just about making money. It has no, health and wellness for kids or anything, and no guardrails at all. And and all of these government officials and the state on level and federal are all along for the ride because these guys are just, throwing money around like crazy. And just like every other industry has their lobbyists, and you could literally see them right on the stage with the president, and on all these appearances. So yeah, I think we're in a really, really precarious place right now. And I sent out a tweet yesterday that said, parents, I have my education channel on my education account. It's like, parents, every single alarm bell is ringing right now about how fast AI is being implemented, not just in school, but at home, and how irresponsibly it's being done. And, the people that run AI, the people that invented AI, are the first ones to say, we don't know where this is going, and there's a 30% chance that it turns into Skynet. So what more do you need to know? Why don't we back off on all this stuff? And the partnership with the DOE, the partnership with the New York City DOE, with New York State, with the federal, just end it. Like, put it all on moratorium, figure this out. But I feel like a voice in the wind, and you might be the only person, you might be the only person listening to me. It's also, it's not just me, it's all these privacy advocates and and a lot of
Yeah, but I just need to stop you. So the one biggest disagreeing point I have with your rant is, by the state of being, let's just say our nation, everybody has an inalienable right to make their own choices. If you're a minor, under the age of 18, the primary person who's responsible for you is your parent or guardian. And that's what all of this is operating under. Whether I agree with it or not, is not the point. The point is the way you're coming off is you're worried about a 30% of our society being harmed. And then therefore you're saying, shut it down. It's not within the framework of this country's capitalism and structure for business and development. And on the other side of the fence, it's not the structure of being a free citizen by choice once you're an adult. And when you're still a minor, though, you have guidance by parents, guardians, and teachers. So,
well, and the government and civic.
No. Well, the government has nothing. The government, in my opinion, has very little to do with it, and to be very, very specific, does nothing but slow the death down. And I'm not even talking about the product or anything like that.
No, they're accelerating the product. They're accelerating the product.
Yeah, but this is also like, this is all tapped into like arms races in, against China and Russia, and right, I still go up to the point where also we're only tapping the, like, I don't know, some aspect within 10% of its capabilities in order to be continually training the model on negative data, so then we can defend ourselves in the future against opposing, Colossus, the Foreman Project attacks by all of that. So, I hear you. I mean, you're a parent, you're a teacher. I'm not railing up against you, but I am railing up against this way people can come to feeling about something and want it to stop for everybody else's sake. And I think that's actually the worst thing that you can do.
I mean, compare it to, vape pens or Joe Camel, right? Where the government finally had to step in, or finally did step in. There was outcry, but nobody did anything. Big tobacco, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then finally they're like, no, they're marketing Camel cigarettes to kids with these Joe Camel ads and these cartoons and everything. So there is plenty of precedent for, the government, nanny state, whatever you want to call it, from reducing harm to children by taking products off the market or requiring regulation.
Yeah,
and we're not seeing it with AI, not at all. And AI is plunging forward. The like every government level I can see, Senate, State House, municipal, they're all just plunging forward, as fast as they can, because they want to get these, AI jobs that they are talking about. And we haven't even talked about the freaking data centers, which is, which is really making noise too. And about the data centers, what they're doing in like these little small communities, there was this, I think it was Arizona. Elon Musk has this. Elon Musk has already built like this 100-acre diesel generator plant, and they're using all the water for this local community. The whole thing got approved in the dark of night behind everybody's back, and they're just realizing it now. And so, this has been on, on TikToks and Instagrams and regular news, saying that, how can one person do this and just, override the wishes of the community. Their water bills are going up, their electric bills are going up, and they can't open their windows because the diesel exhaust is killing them. And that's all that's all because of grok. That's all because people are putting grok in 24 hours a day. And Elon needed to get his own supply of energy, and his own supply of cooling, and his own location for it. So he just found some sleepy little town where nobody was paying attention. And of course, it's like a minority community where there's not great representation, but they're dealing with the aftermath right now. This thing is already built. You should see pictures of this. Smokestacks, rows and rows of smokestacks belching out black smoke or gray smoke. And so that was just built. And this is the reality. They're trying to do this all over America and the world. And they're probably going to have to do it, in globally, because, Americans will wake up, maybe late, but they will wake up and say, hey, I can't breathe and there's no water coming out of my tap. So, yeah, this is where we're at, man. And I think I'm seeing it a lot now, a lot more talked about. I don't know if you are, but it's an outrage. So that's why I'm mentioning it here and now, because it's messy, and they haven't figured out how AI and all this growth is going to be power. That's just it's just not accounted for. And this is just when you would think that you would build out solar and wind now, because this would increase capacity. We need to increase capacity, and forget about fossil fuels and pollution, right? That's all a bygone conclusion at this point. You're just trying to feed the AI beast at this point. So yeah, I'm seeing this as pretty messy right now.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I completely don't side with slow it down or stop it. I just don't see that as a rational way of dealing with a juggernaut.
Well, you have to take care of what they call Maslow's hierarchy. If people do not have air and water, that should put the brakes on things, and that's what's happening.
You still there?
Yeah, I had to.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hey, I gotta jump out. I gotta jump out real quick. I gotta wash my hands real quick. I'll be right back.
I'll wash my hands of the whole thing. Yeah, now that Kurt's gone, let's talk behind his back. No, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to deal with all this stuff. This is some real messy stuff, and that nobody can seem to stand up to the billionaires. That's what's going on here. Unfortunately, the billionaires are running the table. It is all these names: Sam Altman, Elon Musk, Larry Oracle, Larry whatever his name is, and they have more money than God, and they want AI. And this is happening all over the world, but I imagine the EU doesn't allow this kind of stuff. They have much more control over when things go online like this. I'm thinking, and yeah, what is it going to look like in 100 years from now? with the drones and the AI and all of this stuff. All right, I'm moving this down to match where it is on the earlier iteration. I'm gonna actually, I can make this whole layer see-through. Aha. And now we can make it go up or down, left or right.
All right, I'm back.
There he is.
So I just want to give everybody an update on what I got going on. I have the first 3 pages because I know some people are interested in what it is and how I get to this point. This is now me getting into my tone and texturing. Really, what it's about is my training was in the arts. You got black, white, but everything that you're dealing with is in the value system. So really, when you're like making a painting or even a drawing, you know, the white of the white highlights might only be like, 3 or 4 dabs and a little bit of mark making, but the majority of the brightness of the image is coming in how you play with the values between black and white, even spotting blacks. So the fastest way I can get to getting a value system of gray, like just a flat, like this is probably like a 10 or 20% gray. Sometimes it gets up to like about a 30, but already my eye starts telling me, you've got to make a decision in this hand and area to the background because the value is also low and this hand is supposed to be coming forward. You got to start making some decisions. So that's what I'll be doing from here on out. And it's kind of like my favorite part of making art is the ending and getting it quote unquote finished. But more importantly for me, working as a visual feast for the eyeballs to kind of roam around on. So, and this has also been a really exciting thing for me to work on somebody else's art, physically their art, in order to see how my technique kind of bears out. So Alex Turbin, thank you very much entrusting me with these amazing pencil pages you've done for us. And the Turbo Doom Magazine #1 anthology, Duke Story. You still there? You coughing? Did you go to the bathroom? You are coughing. You all right?
Yeah, I'm here. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks to Alex for being a part of this, making the pencils and inks for an 11 pager. We're having a lot of fun with putting it all in place right now. I'm moving stuff around on the 200 DPI preview. There could be a better way for us to do this workflow in the future, so that we're not doing so much back and forth. I think obviously, if Alex is starting with the right page size, if we're working with Alex, that we have to either make it, our page size or make it more modular so that we can easily just move stuff around.
Yeah. I got to jump out again. Sorry.
Okay. But yeah, I'm just trying to, so I finalized the word balloons here. And the question is, are they too big? What else? I also need to go in here, and I think I need to lighten this up so that this background that Kurt just put in is going to be lighter. So I'm grabbing this and I'm going to feather it, even though this is only temporary because this is all just 200 DPI preview. I'll make this like a 15 radius and then lighten it up. Yeah, and lighten it up again. And lighten it up again.
So, yeah. Jake.
Yeah.
You know how I mentioned I woke up to a very, very cold homestead. The heat's actually come back on, so I'm gonna have to monitor it. So I will be jumping on and off for a little bit just to see what the hell is going on.
Uh-huh.
But
You're not in charge of your own heat. You had it all centrally sent.
no, I'm in charge of it. I had it. We had a power flicker, but it was only part of our house, like only
Yeah.
like. And I right before I started the show, like right before 10 o'clock this morning, I was like, I said to myself, I was like, oh, why don't I trip the breaker for the heat and see what happens? Well, I just went downstairs to, and of course it's running now, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what it is. But I still have a bit of a concern for um, whether there's an issue with the thermostat and the HVAC. So just want to keep things cool or
All
warm.
right. So
Anyhow,
I see
anyhow.
what I'm doing here is I'm just making some real light tweaks here. My This is only the first page, but my word balloons, I created the backgrounds balloons. I got white. I have gray tones in them, and I'm just gonna have to wait to see your final art to see how everything goes together at the end. But I think I'm done with this page here, and so now I can delete this old layer. Oh, except we need to keep all this extra stuff I did at the top. So I can delete all the old artwork like that. Oh no, I'm on the wrong layer. And like that, right? Yeah. So and yeah, we'll just move on. So I'm hitting save and I'm going to round 2, page 2 here. And I guess this is pretty valuable. I'm just kind of like checking in. Nothing really changed on the word balloons except I just kind of had to kick them over a little on the top. Everything else pretty much seems like it just sits in there, but I think the last tweaks will just be when we get the final art. So I'm closing off this, and I'm gonna have to make a layers file for everything. So these will all have to be in PSD format. The only one I had like that was page 1. So let's go to page 2 now. And wow. Oh, I did page 2 in layers also. Good. So this is fun. Yeah, this is the page I think you were just working on a minute ago. Did you do anything with the sound effects that I had in there?
That didn't that's not that wasn't transferable to
Well, I guess I'll see
the
in a second.
originals that I got from Alex. So it's
Well,
just me working on those pages.
you know,
That's the overlay.
right. Well, some of these I just made were temporary, and some of them are kind of usable. But so this is your new file here, and
The newest file.
newer, right? So I'm looking at the difference, and you have the panel borders and a little bit of hatching.
Yep. That's just my skeletal 80%.
Right. So I'm gonna grab this. Then I'm going to bring it in as a layer. This isn't going to change very much right now. Not on this page anyway. We're going to make it bigger, much bigger. To fit. Much bigger. Some of these pages bleed off the borders, right? This one definitely does. On the left.
Which one you on?
This is like an explosion, page 2.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right, now how did we get from here to there? We moved stuff around. So Here's where it gets interesting. We're gonna move stuff around, and I'm moving your stuff around, but you're gonna give it to me again. I'm gonna have to move it around more later. So we're just seeing if anything. Yeah, nothing really changes. Not too much changes. Let me try and line these up. Okay. I think I made some panels bigger, and I might have like horizontally stretched and scaled some stuff. And I definitely dropped stuff down. Like this. Yeah, I just moved it all apart. So, yeah, we're gonna. This doesn't have to be the final placement, though.
Nah, you still have a lot of
Yeah, I don't
work
think it's
ahead of you.
for me to be doing much until I get the final artwork.
Yeah, you had just requested seeing my line art on that was pushing a completer looking page, definitely with the boxes outlined. So we were on definitely a same page of knowing that we could cut this panel out and move it down, or
You might have
however
to
we
speak
want
up a
to do
little bit. I think your volume's dropping.
it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you just kind of low. Hopefully, I'm not.
So yeah, I was just saying that the majority of what you wanted from me was really based on the borders to the panels. That was like the biggest thing that you were interested in seeing, because that would have been anywhere where you could now definitively cut them apart. Cut the panels apart, and then know that you're going to drop them down here and there.
Right, but here's the thing. Like, see these eyes? What I did was because there was no panel borders then, I made the eyes bigger, and then they took up more space in both directions. And you just put borders around them where they were. So it's fine. We'll just have to decide how it's ultimately going to be. But when there was no panel borders and his art looked a little bit sparse, and I didn't know where the word balloons were going to go, I was just enlarging it, which we could do, although you might lose some qualities.
Well, enlarging it. Let me grab that page. Where's that page?
What's that?
I'm looking for that page. Where the fuck did I put?
Yeah, see these eyes right here? I pulled them up, so I pulled them out so that they were much bigger.
Yeah, but at the same point, you could drop this panel, the bottom panel, all the way to the bottom of the 11 by 17 and really blow up my art when it comes along. Yeah, but when you have the finish art.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. The thing is that if you can't just make stuff bigger without losing quality. And
if I give you 400 DPI, because then you'd have 300, and then you put a 400, a cutout scan on top of it. It'll be up. It'll blow up.
Well, whatever you give me, if I drag that to 150% of its size, it's going to reduce in quality. Right. So I don't think there's too many cases where I did this, but I was just doing that, and I gave that back to you, I thought, so that you could see it with the bigger eyes.
Yeah, but I can't do anything with that, Jake, on this. Like, what would I do differently now? Like, I'm already set, because
now you're set in.
But it's also not only just that panel; it's the composition of those eyes. These eyes are obviously the focal point, because they're eyes looking at you. It's just the human reaction people have to eyes, like, oh shit, this comic book's looking at me. And then therefore, if we want to play that up even more, we have that ability by cutting apart the panels. And then even I could even make a note to scan this panel like 600 to 900 DPI resolution to be able to play with it. You would have the ability to play with it in an 11 by 17 page, which is kind of fun. I'm saying that's kind of fun to me.
Right. Because those panels are moving apart like 3 inches. All the panels on the page are being spread apart 3 inches. So when I move,
we have 3 inches to play with. Well, not really. We have 2.5 inches because you should still have like quarter inch of gutter above and below, unless you want to go into a bleed.
Well, we have to decide all this. Like this gutter right here, it's kind of wide and it's distracting. So I don't think we can have that. So I think we're gonna have to move this panel up in the end. Because I love putting like words in between, but some places we don't, you don't have words, they're not needed. So I'll be moving that panel back up. And I was just kind of spacing these out temporarily. I thought maybe that when you saw what I was giving you, that you might extend the art a little bit, but if you just drew the panel borders exactly small, as small as you could, were you looking at what I was giving you?
I don't understand how you think I'm going to be able to manipulate the physicality of this page beyond just doing it and then having after effects, if you will, by scans.
Right. Well, that in the case of enlarging something on Alex's original art, obviously you can't do that. But in the case of extending panels, where you're making it reach farther up. Oh yeah, because you would have to cut everything out. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I was that was the number one thing I had as a suggestion because it seemed rational. Yeah. But I thought it was I was pushing myself too far ahead of you in having the ability before cutting and rearranging any of the panels, utilizing the space for text and sound effects.
That's all right, man. We have Photoshop. And what we're gonna do on that page is we're gonna move that bottom panel all the way down. We're gonna grab your panel border. We're gonna make it fit, and then we're gonna enlarge the eyes as much as we can, maybe like only 120, 115%, because then it won't get jaggy and it won't reduce the quality visibly. And if there's ever any empty space, we'll have to put in like some bricks or some mechanical background, or we'll just cut and paste or clone some area to make it work.
Yeah,
we have a million tricks in the book here. But
I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, but these panels have to be spread apart. Yeah. Let's move this one all the way down. And when we do that, it kind of lines up. And then we're going to grab the eyes separately from that. And bottom line is that these word balloons are fine where they are. These eyes.
I'm back.
My eyes have seen the glory.
Did you say these eyes?
We'll just make these eyes.
These eyes have seen a lot of love, seen a lot of.
Yeah, these eyes. Should I do something?
All right, Jake. I have to preface. Well, I have something very exciting to share with you, which is music based, which I'm betting you either knew about or have watched. And it's a documentary on the Rolling Stones, and it's called Sea Sucker Blues.
Blues. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's been out for decades.
And the C stands for cock-a-doodle-doo, sucker.
Right.
Blues. You have seen it?
I don't know if I saw the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm halfway. It's 3 hours long, and it is mind-boggling, dude.
Yeah.
It is mind-boggling because it came up in a like a review of movies that somebody sued to not have the movie released, and the Rolling Stones sued them because it is, dude, it's dicks out, boobs out, cocaine out.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like in the first like 35 minutes, all on an airplane, and it's
Footage.
and it's 1970, 71, I think is the time they recorded all of this.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Behind the music.
Wow, that's like, it's just it's not surprising, but the only other movie I can think of that had like that depth was The Song Remains the Same for Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I've watched that like at least 17 times. I love that documentary.
Yeah, that used to be a midnight movie.
Yeah, so freaking cool. Peter Grant, like catching those guys on the bootleg t-shirts and stuff, and he's yelling at the owner of the Coliseum that he wants his money, and the guy's like, "What are you talking about? I don't have anything." He's like, "You're fucking telling me you don't know about these motherfuckers and taking a cut. I want my money." And it's just like, holy crap, it's true.
He was a good manager.
Woo!
He was a bulldog. Well, it's funny you say that because the #1 streaming movie right now that just displaced the latest season of what's that high budget whatever, I'm blanking, but the latest streaming right now is the P Diddy expose that was put out by 50 Cent, and they had some video of him melting down in his office and on the phone. They had unprecedented access. He tried to stop it from coming out.
Mm-hmm.
They're interviewing victims and talking all about the court cases and stuff. So another behind the music.
It is very fascinating how I love behind the scenes stuff. I actually probably love more behind the scenes makings of movies than the movies themselves. That's how weird I am when it kind of gets really down to it. But it is pretty wild how we really are gutting the mystery of the lives that people have that are, famous and
infamous.
They ultimately become infamous because, people just are, tired of the bullying or the shenanigan, whatever it is. It's just really wild how, we have access to posting things on the internet. Well, not like YouTube and Instagram, and you can get things started. I don't know why did 50 Cent get involved? I don't remember or haven't heard anything where.
I think 50 Cent might have, I'm just guessing, but I think he might have lulled Diddy into complacency and letting him have a camera guy in and acting like he was going to be sympathetic. And then after everything came out, just kind of showed things as they are, which is pretty bad. I don't know. But he was bragging. So it's not Game of Thrones. What's the biggest, like, he knocked off the biggest thing on streaming right now, which is like another season that they spent $550 million on. I'll see what we're talking about. While I'm looking for that, we have Apex Comics 3200.
Hey!
We have Futuro Comics.
Yep.
And Saboteur, of course. They are just catching up on some comments here. Hi, Jake and Kurt. Um, it was something like tobacco. It should be regulated. So yeah, talking about government restrictions on things that are harming kids, um, let alone adults. I understand what you're saying about freedom. We have the freedom to kill ourselves slowly, but when everybody else has to pay the bill to mop it up, that's
Look,
when
I'm not for the side. I'm just the messenger bringing the
yeah,
it's just the
regulation
truth.
and tax.
It's
The
yeah,
Saboteur
we
says
we
regulation
live
and
in.
tax. The revenue could go back into schools and learning versus just using AI.
Good luck with that.
Well, that's what was on the ballot in New York City. The new mayor incoming in January 1st, is going to try to tax millionaires and billionaires. I don't think it's going to work because that has to be done at the state level, and you got to talk about Kathy Hochul at that point. But there are some people in Massachusetts just passed a millionaire's tax, and it's doing very well. Apex says, I like Eli, but he's going too far on this AI plant being generators. I think he meant Elon, but he's going too far on this AI plant being generators powered by diesel. This AI plant needs to be generated by clean nuclear energy. Oh boy. Okay. Then bring some nukes in.
There you go,
Um,
Jake. There you go, Jake.
the nuclear energy, let's talk about that for a second.
All right,
Um,
before you do, I
yeah.
want to ask this question. And it's a serious question. Where does nuclear power, like the two, like the nuclear as one central scientific idea, and then nuclear power as another centralized scientific idea, play inside Turbo Pit Fighter?
Well, yeah, and by the way, you got to raise up your volume again.
Really?
Yeah, so nuclear reactions are such that they when they release, an electron or neutron or whatever, it's just a cascading, never-ending, pyramid, and it just keeps on going forever. And that is why they say, well, we can harness this into energy. And Einstein was the guy that unlocked the atom, but Oppenheimer and those other guys said, well, we can turn this into a weapon. We can turn this into nuclear energy. We just have to be able to cool it sufficiently. And the big danger is that when you have a nuclear reaction, there's two different kinds. There's fission and fusion, and I'm not claiming to know the difference, but I think nuclear fission is looked at as a possible future source of energy if we can figure it out. So right now what we have is like you get something like plutonium, which is like highly dangerous nuclear radioactive material, and we have these rods of it that are exposed, and we create a nuclear reaction, and that creates so much heat that it spins turbines, right? Once you have heat, you can spin turbines and create electricity. We've done that ever since the past in coal. We've done it with steam. We've done it with burning wood. Whatever can burn, whatever can spin turbines. So now we have these nuclear reactors, and they're heating up these rods, these radioactive rods, and they're spinning these turbines. But you have to control it, otherwise the nature of it is that every time there's a loose electron in the outer shell, and it creates another loose electron in the outer shell, and it keeps on doing it, it'll just keep going and going and going. And that's when you have a nuclear meltdown. And that's why nuclear bombs are so powerful. But um, humans have figured out how to do this. You have to cool it. And so they have these rods that heat up a bunch, and they spin turbines and spin turbines. But then when they get to a certain point, they're going to lower the rods back down into some cooling water or some ice or steam. I think they just use water, and they all right, cool it down. We're going to turn it the other way before it gets out of hand here. And when you do that, you heat and cool. You can create nuclear energy, and it's pretty good compared to other forms of energy, as long as you don't have any accidents happening, number one. And then the other real big downside, like accidents like an earthquake, or an accident can also just as easily be sabotaged, like crashing a plane or, a
Ninjas,
shot. Yeah, a
Ninjas.
saboteur. A spy gets in there and just like does this spills Pepsi on the console. Um, and it's funny because I spoke to a security guard here at the Indian Point plant. I didn't speak to him directly, but a security guard at the Indian Point nuclear plant, which is decommissioned now, was saying that they have a gun on their hip at all times. And if anybody starts getting some funny ideas, it doesn't matter whether they're 30 years there, they're supposed to pull out their gun and shoot them, you know, to protect the facility from melting down or anything. So security is a very, very big problem. And when 9/11 happened, um, those planes that were those planes that were coming from Boston literally just flew right past the Indian Point nuclear plant. Had they crashed into the domes of the reactors instead of crashing into the World Trade Center, they could have killed millions of people. And so, I guess we need to be grateful
Yeah.
that their plan was just to take down the Twin Towers in a big, display of, killing and like destroying our big capitalist buildings and stuff instead. But they could have been much worse. And so you always have that risk that somebody's going to shoot an RPG at the plant, or somebody's going to fire a missile into a plant, and or that somebody's going to do some sabotage from within, and you're very susceptible. Whereas a coal plant, or a natural gas plant, the worst that can happen is maybe like a big explosion that puts a crater on the site. This is different. This will create a toxic death cloud that will go wherever the wind is blowing, and it will kill, you know, tens of thousands, if not hundreds or thousands of millions of people, by exposing them to little flakes that happen. That happened in Chernobyl. These little flakes landed on people, and then they get cancer. Some of them get radioactive poisoning immediately, but some of them it's a drawn out thing, and they die later on, and tumors and everything. So, um, nuclear power, I do want to say though, it has gotten a lot safer. France is kind of like the leader in the world, as far as I know, about having a very, very high percentage of nuclear in their energy portfolio, and being really careful with it. Um, probably the biggest cost after the energy is created is what to do with the spent nuclear rods, and that's called nuclear waste. And like in the 70s, they used to just like find some mountain in Arizona, like Yuma Mountain or whatever, and they dig a hole in the mountain and just stick it down in the mountain. And it was so stupid, like as if that's not connected, to water and air, and it'll get out, and it's connected to like the rocks and the minerals and everything. Like it's going to be a disaster to clean that up in the future. It was so stupid. Some people have proposed sending it out to space and just dumping it somewhere in space, like flotsam, floating nuclear waste. They might yet do all that kind of stuff, but um, what France is doing is that it has these gigantic pools. They're just like swimming pools, and they're just sitting in there, and they have to sit in there for something like 10,000 years. But it's pretty cheap to just have pools and just have the stuff sitting in there. Now, as I said before, I'm probably getting like 5 to 10% of this wrong, but the idea is, I mean, that's what I remember anyway. To be able to answer the question to the best of my ability, is that nuclear has gotten a lot safer. They are proposing new nuclear plants in New York State and all over the country. And one of the things that they do is they make them much smaller, so that they're kind of like mini nuke plants. And if something does happen, it wouldn't like take out the nearest city. It would just maybe take out people in the county, or people nearby. I mean, we've had this happen. We had a worst case scenario happen twice. We've had three times, really, if you want to count 3 Mile Island. That wasn't so bad. It was right in the middle of Pennsylvania. And then we also had Chernobyl, which was probably the worst disaster that happened, but also Fukushima, where the earthquake got in and just flooded everything with water. So some people are saying that there's fish in the ocean, in the Pacific Ocean now, that are radioactive because of Fukushima. So you can follow up on all that kind of stuff. Um, if you're going shopping for some tuna, some fresh tuna, or some scrod or albacore, or haddock or fillets or whatever, just bring your Geiger counter with you. That's all, and you'll know what you're dealing with. But yeah, so nuclear, it may very well be part of the future. But what's really fascinating to me is nuclear fission or fusion, whichever one we're not doing now. It's the other one. And I think they're also talking about hydrogen fusion, where you don't have to use like a radioactive, element to kick things off. You can actually get this whole knock-on effect with hydrogen cells, and so it's all in development. And maybe and this is the kind of thing that AI is supposed to be good for.
Yeah.
And people are coming out with headlines all the time now about good things that AI is helping people figure out how to do. Um, my hair is on fire because I don't think this should be in schools right now. Making connections to kids and getting them to be companions to kids. I just think this should be done with scientists, and it's not just the AI; it's also the quantum computing and the capacity of computers. That's real, because the AI is helping design the next generation of microchips so that they can do leaps and bounds, because the AI is incredible, can do incredible computations that humans can't do. So it's just going to lead to more and more and more. AI is going to lead to more powerful AI and more powerful computers, including quantum computers. But the microprocessors that we have right now are fueling the surge of AI that we're seeing already, and that's only going to continue. So you know, uh, when you're talking about like scientific breakthroughs that AI can help in, it's going to be every single field, including analyzing data from outer space, analyzing data from quantum particles interactions. There's a new like feature in Vanity Fair about the awareness of objects. Like there cannot be the existence of objects without some form of consciousness, and how that can be measured. Real interesting stuff happening. So I guess a long answer, but we're at the dawn of AI. It's 2026, and we're just starting out with these pursuits. So it's fun to think about what's going to happen with not just AI, but computing, and also you got to throw robotics in there too.
Yeah, it's all going to become clear.
Robotics and drones. Drones basically are robots, but all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's better. I think I might leave this as it is. Um, so did you get, look at this sound effect right here? Did you get these kind of sound effects in what I sent you so that you could see what it's going to be? Um,
You print, yeah, I printed out. Let me see if I can find it here.
so you have the printouts and you can just eyeball it and then you could see.
Yeah, because I have. I guess this is
Yeah, because some of these are going to change
two.
based on what you give me, and some of them I'm just going to keep them as they are.
Yeah,
And then I'm wondering, like, see, like around this, like you might want to make some shiny lines or some excitement lines, or you might want to make it lighter and around the letters, to make it
yeah,
stand out. All this kind of stuff. But I'll see. I'll wait to see what you give me first.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the best use of my time right now it would be to make these word balloon background bubbles. I don't think they're going to change very much. I was worried that they were going to change a lot based on
Yeah.
what you're giving me,
Yeah.
But you're not really moving stuff around. Oh,
Not
that's
at
what we
all.
do later
Not at all.
when we do the final move around, right?
Yeah, well, you'll make those in the final page design.
Yep.
Final page
That's what
designs
I'm
will have,
saying.
all the correct text and sound effects and whatever kinds of.
Yeah, the last touch.
Yep, the
Um,
nuances.
right, but we can't finish until you give me what when you're done with your stuff.
Yeah, and I'm
Um,
plowing along. We are 2 hours in. Page one will be completed by the end of the 3 hours. So this will get scanned and sent to you. So it'll also next week give you the ability to be like, "Hey, Kurt, question for you," or however we need to kind of keep moving forward on things.
yeah,
Some of the like this is the first time I'm working over the top of Alex's pencils, so I can say I'm a bit skittish. I really don't want to diminish anything that he put forward, but I've got to make decisions between, like I said here. Like definitely, this is a good example here. You got a hand, a head, chest, an arm, a hand, background. And other than this black here, which I just use sparingly, I've got to make a lot of decisions, which means certain things really kind of disappear in a sense to the eye and things get pushed forward. Obviously, the face here and this hand is going to be of the most importance. This becomes secondary, but this all becomes just driven down. I just got to make a decision on whether this is going to go black or this is going to go black, and then this would go darker gray. So when I get there, that's what will happen. That's page 3.
gotta squint.
Yes. And I'm also interested in what you'll end up doing in the way of like you did with this page, which we have the Duke in 4 basic positions in this panel. Action was 3 right here, where you've grayed down. So then the values that I've applied to each of these parts, if you will then have another effect once you've cut them out, and then be driven the opacity back by 50 or 70% or however you're going about it.
Yep.
So yeah, we are making waves.
Getting somewhere. Yeah, so I'm gonna close down this second file here. I think so some of the stuff gets a little technical, but I have to put a white background in here. Just gonna fill it with white. Whoops. Like that. And now I can merge these 2 layers. And even though this is just temporary.
I'm going to drop out again. I'll be right back.
Goes down for that. Oops, I can't see. Where's my balloons? Hello? I think I just lost my balloons. Something's bad. Undo, undo, undo. Help, undo. There they are. Layer 7 was the balloons. Nope. Layer 4 was the balloons. Okay. And layer 5 is not flat yet. Right, I just want, alright, so I'll just leave this how it is. Close this out. Save it. Oh, I totally forgot to do all the show and tell. I got some show and tell for Kurt when he comes back. And not just sketches either. I got some stuff. Alex is deep pages. So we're going to have layers PSD 01. That looks like put that in here. Why is this being copied? Oh no. Oh, because I'm on this. Okay. That. Go up. So let's view these like this. Here we go. I just did that. 01, 02. Now we're going to do 03. We're going to make this into layers. So I have to bring this into Photoshop. And then we have to open the EPS. And then I also have to open up this other layers file here so I can get these word balloons. A lot of these can be repurposed and just rotated and jimmied around. Just move the well, the words and the word balloons. Yeah, so here's the balloons here. Right, layer 4 is what I want. I'm going to grab all of layer 4, copy, close, don't save, bring this in here. Boom.
All right, I'm back.
Word balloons. So I got some show and tell. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. How about these for a blast from the past?
Oh, wow. Speedball nibs.
Speedball nibs, right. And, you know, I think Kirby was using these in his heyday. These were my dad's, and I haven't even messed with these. There's a couple missing, as you see. Maybe I did mess with some of them. But, like, when would you use these? You have this round one, this completely square, like squarish one, and then you have these kind of like chisel tip ones here. These are also round ones right here.
Well, it's for calligraphy.
Yeah, you're right. It's for calligraphy. It's for writing. Beautiful ornate calligraphy.
Which was a big thing.
Yeah.
Big
So
industry.
I was thinking about just bringing it to school and letting it go to the wolves.
Oh man.
500 rasterized grayscale 500. I'm opening up the EPS. What else do we have for show and tell here? Ready? So this is selling on eBay for as little as like $6.
Wow.
Plus shipping is more like 10. But before there was heavy metal, you know that it was the National Lampoon that influenced heavy metal to start in America.
And then they were the ones that brought heavy metal over.
Right, it was them. Right, it was that guy. Well, whoever the guy was. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you do have. I don't know if I'm getting in trouble here, but yeah, you do. All right. So let me just show you. Like this would be a great comics and influence to flip through this. I just got to be careful because sometimes there's some TNA and sometimes there's some stuff going on. But yeah, like look at this stuff. This is like obviously heavy metal quality stuff.
Oh yeah.
But this is National Lampoon and some big names in here, some names that you know, but a lot of stuff in here, a lot of European, and it just goes on and on. Like this is an amazing book. If anybody wants to pick them up, they're selling on eBay for as much as like $35. But the last completed item I saw wasn't that much money. And I just got these off Rick, my buddy, who has like a cache of like old graphic novels. So I only took 2 pieces off him yesterday. I actually paid him for this stuff, but look at this.
Nice. Wow, that's a nice one, Jake.
So this is great inside, but it's not Warren. It's I don't know what it is. I can't get any information. I Googled it. It says Erie Publications, but of course, Erie was the name of a title from Warren Publications.
There
And
was
so,
there was a golden age comic book company called Erie.
well, this is Erie Publications, May 1976.
It could be them.
And there's a bunch of these. And this is so cool inside. When I show you the inside, it's all black and white, gray wash, really good artists, like a real range, a real selection of styles and everything. So this is a good piece that we're going to have a lot of fun going over on a comics that influence. And that I can show you the whole thing. What else do we have here for show and tell? These I have to ask you. You might have to be my what's her name? What's the lady that tells people to throw stuff out? Kondo or something?
Marie Kondo.
Yeah, is that her name?
Yeah.
You might have to be my Marie Kondo. But I did a pencil page. Here's a Hellclaw poster. And,
nice.
Students obviously did this. And I don't know what to do with it. I might just publish it as a pinup in Pearl White Malady, but it's going to the Doom magazine stuff, which is a whole other world. I don't really want to mix those two worlds. Here was a very tight colored pencil drawing I had of Wee Lou that somebody inked, and it kind of destroyed. But so I need you to tell me, Kurt, can I just throw this out?
Nah, send them to me.
Okay. Right. You can resurrect it.
Right. I would love to have that.
Okay.
Here, if anybody wants to send me their crappy art, go for it. I will definitely give it a shot in resurrection.
All right, just make sure you raise your volume, Kurt, because it's hard to hear. Here's a pin of Esoterra I did, and a kid grabbed it, inked it. Didn't do such a bad job. There was some spillage in the village here, though. So this would have to become something, but that just like launches you off into different ideas. Oh, we can do that, make it an effect. We have some of this ranting text around. Esoterra has never known the presence of the unseen hand, only receiving coded messages in deep meditative dream states. Until one day, Esoterra came into contact with the DNA of Shankara Vaisha herself. The moment shook her to her core. Esoterra, the mystic destroyer, a revelatory burst of key insights into the existence of the nether plane. That's good information right there.
Hell yeah.
So we have those. Now we're gonna go way back. Are you ready to go way back?
I am.
We're getting into our time machine. So put on your cap, and we're getting into the DeLorean. Here's what I found at work. I haven't messed with this for a long time. These guys, remember these guys?
Oh yeah, Letraset.
Letraset, right. Letraset was a name brand, but this is basically a press-on type. And this is Tack Type, a different brand. And as far as I know, it's still good. I have used this, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years ago, but I have all these different styles. And, this is like Helvetica. This is whatever, New Century. Oh, this is Fortune Bold. And some of these are unused. I don't know where I got these. I might have got these at a yard sale or something. And they don't make this stuff anymore, as far as I know. There's a couple alphabets here and some numbers. So you could use this for a display type. And then the sheet is kind of like a lot less, worthwhile, because once all the vowels are missing, right? Like this was used once by somebody. There's still a lot of letters here. Some of these get really small, and they're in all different colors too. So this is just amazing stuff. I have no idea if this is valuable, if it's collected, if it's on eBay or anything. But I remember I bought this one myself. This is Letrographica set, 1985, made in England, and I paid or somebody paid $64. That sounds high. That might, I don't know if that's accurate. And here, really, really small, white, like, like I can barely even see this stuff. Really, really small. Look how little these are.
Holy crap!
If anybody wants this stuff, hit me up. I might use some of this stuff, but the real small stuff, I can't use this. I don't know what I would ever use it for. Nowadays you just type stuff and hit print. But here we go. Maybe there's press type. So here's the different brands. This one's called Cellotac Manufacturing, Island Park, New York. That's Long Island. Here's press type, printed in USA. This is when the US used to have light industrial, and we don't have it anymore. Heat resistance, Helvetica medium. And this also looks italic. Yeah, Helvetica medium italic. So I've just been holding on to it, and I can use some of the bigger ones for some concert posters, or in the comics. It's a lot of fun. But what do I do with the other one? And it takes forever to do that stuff. You got to have precision and good eyesight. So what does Marie Kondo say on that? Kondo?
Back it up and send it to me.
Oh yeah, send it to me.
Back it up and send it to me.
You're gonna mess with those little letters?
Hell yeah.
Okay. Well, I got to work on my latest poster first.
Could you guys send me my copy of R. Crumb Tales of Paranoia?
Yeah, I got to get a bundle. Well, I'm gonna kick off my holiday in 2 days, so I'm gonna get you a bundle out to you. What else do we have? So have you
opened the copy of Crumb that I sent you?
I opened it. I opened the cardboard to see that it was Crom inside, but I think I lost it at that point. So it's somewhere in my house, and when my wife is cleaning up after me, she puts stuff wherever
away.
Yeah. So it's right now it's completely lost, and I wanted to see it because I was laying sick in bed last night. And I wanted to open it up and start flipping through it, but I don't know where it is. So you're gonna have I'm gonna have to come across it when I have my break. What else? So here's some pinups. I just wanted to show a sketch. I guess there's no point, but I just had a sketch. This character here. I don't even know who this is. I was just gonna make this into maybe a concert poster. We have a gig in late January. So that's my show and tell for the day. Back to work. Yeah, so I just opened up the EPS file. Oh no, did I don't think I suppressed the output. Shoot, I'm gonna have to go back to court now. But yeah, did you get any snow your way?
Oh yeah, couple inches.
We had a really nice snowfall after we spoke.
Yeah, we did too. Yeah, it was beautiful, very picturesque.
Yeah. Well, it's good. We have the Northeast. We have really, really hot and really, really cold. Damn, I didn't suppress output on the graphic here. I was just supposed to get the word balloons. I wonder if I can still work with this because I'm getting rid of the balloons anyway. But I think when you get it on the EPS, it gives you on a see-through background. I might want to do that instead. Right? You don't get white. You get nothing. You get the little checkerboard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to Quark now. Let's try this again. I just assumed the output was suppressed on all the pages, but I guess not. So back to the drawing board. Duke 11-pager. Quark Doc. That looks great. That's the first page?
Yep. Getting there. I'm already starting to think in whites now too. So I'll bring back a lot of stuff with white. But it's really coming along, and I'm really loving what Alex has put down. So these pages are going to look sweet.
Here's a question we haven't spoke about in a while. What is up? I know you inked all of the panels for the end of the world index, and whatever we called it.
Yeah.
How might we want to use that?
Well, the original idea was I would ink each individual panel and then give them to you, and they could be inserted graphics, whether it's for like the intro pages to some stories or the text batch,
Right.
you know.
Or what if they were all just together with a little blurb under each one too? That's a possibility, right?
Once you have it, the first thing I'll do is after I finish Alex's pages, I'll go right back to that to make sure they're all nice and pristine the way I want them, and then I'll scan them and send them to you. But I'll also put it together into a large graphic, as you have, given me. I have the drawing here, so we can make something.
How big did you ink them?
To size.
Well, I don't know what size that was.
I can't remember. I mean, because you work on an 18 by 24. It wasn't entirely 18 by 24 coverage.
18 by 20, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So you half 18 is 9. I think they were like 7 by 5 or something like that.
Okay.
5 by 4. Yeah, that'd have been probably about 7 by 5.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. Well, we got to use them. Oh, look, I didn't have suppress outputs. Now I got to suppress output and replace all these stupid things. Dang it. So, I mean, we have a lead-in page for the Duke, so that's a no-brainer to use it on the lead-in page for the Duke. We also have the casualties, so we'll have a lead-in page for the casualties. So we could just use those like that if we want.
Yeah, you're talking about the 2-pager from what was that? Funk issue 2.
Well, that's Cromita.
Oh, that's sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought we'd throw that in Doom Mags as just kind of like an afterthought, originally presented in Funk number 2. Those are cool pages.
Yeah.
That's the first appearance of the casualties anywhere. So we're just kind of like reproing it in Doom Mags number 1 so that people will have it. And let's see. So then, and then we have the casualties. So yeah, we have 2 lead-in pages. I know we did this last time, but we have I think 26 pages of content, right? With 2 pages with 6 pages to fill to get to 32.
Something like that.
I remember right. Yeah. So that's
I'm
that's
just looking at my notes. Yeah. No, we have everything in production. We don't have to invent anything for Doom Mags number 1. Hence, us doing our best to take 3 hours a Sunday to really start, pushing forward on.
You have a color cover. You have a color cover, but are we gonna have the same back cover?
It's an interesting question because we still also have advertising. I want to do a crom ad, whether it's a half pager or a full pager. So
Yeah.
I would actually really love to have the back page for Crom. Because I think the other thing too, we haven't really crossed. Well,
Page layout.
I guess the bigger thing is like, well, I'm going to have my version, my cover version. You're going to have your cover version. So it doesn't mean that I can't have Crom on the back of my cover version, and you have the back where you could put, some art. You could even do a Von Ghoul's band poster or something.
Well, that's
But
what I was saying. If we have different print jobs because we have different front covers,
yeah,
then
just
maybe
like our
we want to have
teaser.
different back covers.
Yeah, just like our teaser.
I might do the Ken Landgraf Turbo on my back cover.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting we had that too. That was the first thing we did. Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep.
that's a possibility. How to deploy that. But yeah, so I'm just trying to think ahead on the zine pages, so we're not like, all right, we're free now. We finished all the dialogue for the casualties. We finished all the dialogue for Alex. Now what do we do? I want to plan it out ahead of time.
Sure.
Um, we have those two lead-in pages. Then we have some zine pages, and I'm so looking forward. Like I'm dying to do that. Like it's like I'm gonna just distill some of the stuff on Hellclaw, and maybe we start at the beginning with the birth of Esoterra, and have some prose there with some photos. So that could be like 2-page story, maybe, like a spread.
Right.
And then we
Right.
still have 4 pages. No, we still have 2 more pages after that to play around with. And I don't know. We got to figure all this out.
We will. Like I
It's
said, my
a
my
ton
whole
of paint.
process is I just make a whole bunch of art, and then I get them all in files. And then I start looking at the layout, and then recognize like, oh, I got a little too much, or I need another page, and then keep pushing that way. But at this point, I know we've got 32 pages worth of art.
Oh yeah, we have tons of stuff. I mean,
Yep.
there's some stuff that isn't inked. If you're gonna ink it, was there anything in the batch of stuff that I gave you when we were at the con
I haven't
that
gone through
might
any of that. I haven't gone through that.
right? Just want to make sure there's nothing there for Doom Mags, right?
Well, I'm not, like I said, I'm not really worried about any extra material yet. Like the extra material, I would always place over to the Substack material that's there, and then throw some proof on it.
Yeah. Right on. Well, here we go. So I went on Substack after we got off last week,
Uh huh.
and I did this funny little bit where I was really pissed at ChatGPT, but I was like asking it like some tough questions, and maybe I could play a little bit of it. Let me see if I can get back to that. It was because I posted it on Instagram too. Um, let's see where my thing is. Okay, is this it right here? No, this is a different clip. So it was maybe I have to go back to Substack or Twitter. Maybe I have the Doom Mag's Twitter account. I know I posted it somewhere. Let's see. Doom Mag's Twitter has what profile? Yeah, here. No, this is the whole thing. All right, I just doing some drawing here. Yeah, it was maybe it was a reel a Facebook reel or something, or an Instagram story that goes away. What are those, stories or reels? I never know.
Stories,
I never know the difference. So
right?
what's a reel? If a story goes away, what does a reel do?
It's just in your feed. It's on your feed.
So it should be on your posts.
Yep.
It's not.
Okay. So it was a story.
Okay, so I did it as a story. So it goes away. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can go back to Substack anyway. Is this it here?
Hey everybody, this is Jake. I'm making Turbo.
That was the beginning of it. But how do you get the short clips in Substack? That's the neatest feature, actually, is when it cuts it into short clips already done for you, and it puts the words under there so that you can listen to it in silent mode too.
That wasn't those were the clips that Substack made for you.
Yeah.
And then you posted it on another social media platform.
I took one of them and I posted it on a different social media platform, but I guess I posted it as a story.
Yeah.
And then went away. But yeah, I was asking it some, some tough, like, moral questions, and I was asking it, what are the names of the billionaires that are destroying the environment to get rich on AI? And it doesn't want to say names. So, I'm just like calling it out. I'm like, are you programmed not to say the names? So I asked again and again, and finally they mentioned Elon Musk is one person. But that's only the tip of the iceberg, right? And I asked, I was like, what about Mark Zuckerberg? What about Larry Ellison? What about, the names I don't even know. Sam Altman, whoever, and yeah, it protects them, and it was pretty obvious in that clip. So I'm sorry I didn't make it a permanent post, because it's a fun little clip. It's only like a minute or minute 30 or something. But that's the kind of stuff I was doing. Once you leave, and I just me drawing, we go into some darker corners, and I sometimes I put on ChatGPT just for a segment and just see what I feel like doing, because I'm so anti. I just want to show people, like, how limited it is or how frustrating it is. So I've been doing that a little, but maybe today, today I can't do that with Perplexity. I don't, because Perplexity doesn't have like the voice mode, but ChatGPT has the voice mode and Gemini has the voice mode. So maybe today I'll do Gemini instead, and we'll go on and we'll ask it some tough questions about its creators and see if there's a conflict of interest. Right? It's because it's wrong. It's wrong, what's going on, and at least give the both sides of the story, but you just can't hide that it's going on. So that was just solo Jake getting into trouble with ChatGPT, and I was doing my lettering, so it was really productive times. I did all the lettering for all the pages, and then I put them all in these little boxes. So that was good. It was productive. And now I just have to resave all the EPSs and replace the old ones. And go through this again from page 3 forward. And for the let's go over our holiday schedule for the fine people. What's our holiday schedule?
We're here next week.
Yeah, because the holiday falls on a Thursday. So
yeah,
Christmas Day falls on Thursday, so we'll all be back to free time on Sunday, and then same thing with New Year's. I don't actually go back to school until the 5th, so that's nice. I have all. Yeah, the 5th is my first day back, and I'm not sure if that's a Monday. Let me take a quick look. see how that might affect us. In case, I don't know, we want to, if I might do some extra streams or something. Yeah, January 5th is a Monday. Yeah. So we'll be here January 4th and December 28th, our regularly scheduled program. And yeah, so we were wrong on predicting that we might have Doom magazines all wrapped up by the end of the year. There's no way, obviously, but it shouldn't be too many weeks after New Year's, I don't think.
The bigger hurdle we have to get over is the proof copies. So that takes time just for waiting on the arrival of.
How long is that?
Could take a week for issues to get printed and sent to us, and then
not too bad.
No, but based on you being the final laying out guy,
yeah,
or at least finalizing the pages, and then independently I can even lay out my own pages. That'll be the road. That'll be a bigger road that we end up crossing.
Yeah, you're talking about Jake's got to do the zine pages, and Jake still has to do the lettering for the casualties. And where are we at with the lettering on Turbo?
It was all done.
We did all that already?
I think so.
I can't remember.
I can't either right now.
Yeah, but that might all have to be done too. That's a lot. That's a big job. 6 pagers.
I'm pretty sure we have those.
I don't remember doing that. No.
Check. You're the ones that would have them.
Okay.
Check and see if you have the
mags. This is Turbo pages 13 to 18 right here.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Let's see. On this MacBook, I have a Quark doc.
Mm-hmm.
Let's open up the JPEGs. This is what we ultimately send out to the printer. Some JPEGs. It's opening. My MacBook is slowing down. I think when Photoshop used to use like scratch disk space, it was bad. Oh yeah, look, we have them in layers. So I don't think we have the lettering in JPEGs, and that's where we left off. So I don't know if I sent that to you or if I'm going to be putting them in. We have it all done.
No, I hand lettered all of the type. Then you went off and started making a font.
Right, but let's see.
And that could have coincided with Alex's pages coming in.
Oh, right. This is the typed font that I gave you. So your hand font came in. That's where we left off. So you probably have your hand font file somewhere. Yeah. That's where we left off. They got to be put in.
Yep.
Right. Which means I'll do a round of just like going through and fixing it up a little bit. And I guess we'll keep that rather than retyping the whole thing from scratch, right?
Hell yeah.
Right. Unless I have a different folder somewhere. Turbo pages 13 to 15. Maybe you sent me something more recent. I would have to check my other computer. But yeah, that's what I have here. Turbo pages 13 to 18. And from 18, we just have 10 more. I also opened up a file called Doom Mag's Zine Pages in Quark. And I think I dropped in some raw text. So we got to those will be the spreads. We'll get some illustrations in there and we'll just finalize all the text. So I have a little head start there.
At this point, we do not have any completed pages other than my cover and I believe your cover.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, maybe we have a couple months worth of work then.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But we only do this every Sunday. And one of the things I mentioned after the last episode is we might continue this 3-hour format and then invite people in for segments of time. Or, we could, while I'm doing my thing, you can be flipping through a comic book. The only thing I have to figure out on my end is sort of how to make your screen the dominant one. If we're
Yeah.
here, wait a second. Let me just try something real quick.
Well, I could just use share screen. I just don't know if that
Well,
bogs you down.
look at this. Watch this. Bing. Well, where did you go?
I'm there on the corner.
Yeah,
I'm
but
on
that
the
doesn't
side.
make any sense.
I can see mine smaller on the side. What are you hitting there?
Just these.
Oh, you put me in a circle now.
Yeah.
You have little shapes.
So now you have a pretty decent. I'm actually going to keep using this. You have a very decent.
But how do I do that though?
Screen. You just need to make sure you're in the center of your camera, so it appears in the screen. Because your camera is going to the right a bit. Because majority of things when you say, "Oh, look at this," it's just a little bit off the side of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I do this and I blow up your screen, I can now start seeing a little bit more of that. But you'll just start having to, just kind of put yourself in a drop zone, where things are. So it's still to be determined, but I'd like to give it a shot. Somewhere down the road, but we're not taking on any interviews until we're done doing Mags number 1. That's my contribution to scheduling. I'm one half of this game, so
It's okay. We also have to talk about a con, right? We were going to try and do a con in the spring.
Yeah, you said this. What was it again? Kingston,
we got waitlisted.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means you didn't get it.
Oh, okay.
But there's other cons.
Well, maybe we just go.
We could just go, but you could also table at other cons too.
Yeah, but this one's indie Comic Con. Like, this is for indie creators, right? This is not a Comic Con.
True. Yep.
So that's kind of the one thing. That's the only reason I would go, to check it out. I mean, I would have to even stay the night up there because I think it's like a 5-hour drive.
Brooklyn is also an indie con.
Right.
I don't know what the venue is or the logistics. Last time, the 2 years ago, they had it outdoors. That was a bust. It was windy. Then the year after, they had it, I think, like spread out over this like industrial building. We saw it in a couple of different spaces within.
Did Pat Higgins do that show?
I don't know.
We talked to him about that. I think we talked to him. We might want to talk to him again.
I think we, yeah, but the other guy is local to Brooklyn. I forget his name, but he did the Vampire Mansion and the Pinball Machine.
Yeah, Mike Jarodowski.
Yeah, he lives.
Jodowska.
He lives in Brooklyn, so maybe he's more up on.
Or he might not. He's kind of fallen off the radar for us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't responded to anything. I know he had a newborn last time we talked to him. Literally, we could hear in that last interview we had with him, the baby, and I think he even mentioned something about getting out of Brooklyn. I don't know. So Lord only knows. Lord only knows, and him.
Yeah.
Jasorka. Michael Jasorka.
Right. When we had a baby, we moved out of Manhattan.
Well, you and I didn't have a baby.
Me and my wife. And
I was correcting AI in a search. If
yeah.
somebody searched like, does Jake and Kurt have children? And they says, yes, Jake and Kurt moved out of Brooklyn with their first child.
We have Turbo and the Trophy Girl.
Once again, AI, that is incorrect information.
All right. So now I have to go grab. I'm doing a lot of back and forth here. I'm looking for the 200 DPI, the certified pages. And I'm going to grab page 3 now. See what's going on. Right. So I don't see any difference at all except for the panel borders. So I'm just going to replace this. And I need to open it in Photoshop first. Okay. I keep double clicking on it. And then it opens up in preview, but it's like the old preview from the 90s. It's awful. Yeah, so 2026 is coming. Unbelievable. And the spring, I opened up some tabs for some other cons. There's a Philly con. There's a Massachusetts con called Mice. And there's an indie con. Well, yeah, the IC3, that's September, and we know about that. Okay, so yeah, do you know anything about Massachusetts Independent Comics Expo? December 6th.
Not a lot, but I have heard. It is a, it's like a CXC, the Crossroads out in Billy Ireland, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. SPX,
Well,
I think it's starting to Coca or Mocha or whatever. Yeah, I mean
Mocha is in September, so that's not going to fly.
Right.
The Mice already happened.
Right.
In December, so I don't know when the next one is. And yeah, and then there's Philly. I'm on their Instagram, but I don't know when their next date is. Oh,
what's the Philly one called?
Is it the Philly?
Oh yeah,
Philly Comics Expo.
Yeah, I think that's a big dirty pop culture one.
They just had one in October, so they haven't announced the date yet. Yeah, so 160 cartoonists and publishers from Philadelphia and beyond. That could be fun.
Let me see. I'm gonna look that up. PCX.
Philly's a cool town. Well, they just had it in October, so I don't know if they have the next one announced.
Oh yeah. I know about this. Yeah. Yeah, the guy to talk to is Pat Higgins. He does a ton of shows, and he does primarily just the indie shows.
Really?
Yeah.
Now this one doesn't line up that well. This is weird. I'm gonna have to make this a little transparent and see why this one isn't lining up. What's going on here? It's a little.
Here, I'll be right back.
Oh, you might have widened this. Wait, no, what happened? I spread it apart? Oh, that's what happened. I spread it apart. Well, I'm just trying to get the top in here. Maybe we should talk about page 3. Did you widen it? There we go. That's better. Now it fits better. So you put some spot blacks in. do 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 do. There's a lot of cons. There's Bronx, there's Long Island, there's Jersey. There's so many to speak of. Now this, I'm just moving down, and it kind of fits. Like that ish. Make it a little bigger as we can. And now we just move those apart. So we'll make this 100% opacity. Looks like that. And then we get rid of it. Looks like that. So what's the difference? We got some panel borders and some spot blacks. So now I'm going to delete the background and leave it like that. Now we'll look at the text and this word balloon layer. And we need to start moving this text around a little bit.
So we got a question from Saboteur Comics. Jake, where did you learn all the production side of things and the kerning and the tracking in the fonts you're making?
I learned basic typography in New York City Technical College, a 2-year degree in the 80s. The school is sometimes they call it City Tech. It's a CUNY school. It was an associate's degree, and I learned how to work with typography and illustration, advertising, photography. It was a pretty decent degree for a 2-year degree, and it was super cheap because it's CUNY, City University of New York system, and they're just like these they're basically community colleges, but they don't call it that. It was like an associate's degree, and it was New York City Technical College. So I got some experience with typography. I had a good typography teacher, but then when I got into the workplace, I started working with type. I was right at the dawn of the digital explosion, the digital revolution, where people were starting to use Mac computers instead of doing like hand typography and like using old equipment like phototypositors that image, letters onto photograph paper using like a
What
dial.
year is this?
So I finished school in '89, and then I go into the workplace, and my first job out of school was working at a sign company. So it was a neon sign company actually. So I started making these layouts using like hand lettering, and I was making layouts for a tube bender that was making neon signs out of them. And I had to make the illustrations, and I had to make the lettering, and then I also had to draw the connections for the tube bender, and I had to figure out how many transformers were going to be used for each job, and there was a lot of science involved. And then they were physically bending tubes, neon tubes. And then I started working. So after that job, working at Kinko's, doing page layout, doing Aldus Freehand and Adobe Illustrator, and, graphic design. And I was doing digital and hand design, paste ups. I worked for like a fashion magazine for a while doing paste ups in house. And you get to learn the trade, and how things look. They look better when the lettering is tight, and that's called kerning. So that's where I learned. Then in the '90s, I started working at a service bureau. That was inside of a printing company, and they were moving all of their digital output into this office, and I was the purchaser, and I was like the whole thing. I was the planner. I used to buy new Mac computers and get the RAM and the upgrades and the motherboards and the scanners and all this kind of stuff. And we would do tons and tons of print jobs every day. And my job was to make sure there was no typos, make sure everything printed right. And sometimes they would provide artwork, and sometimes we would lay it out for them. And that was where I learned the trade, and just working with others and clients and all that kind of stuff. So, and I'm also a nerd. But my dad was also into typography. He was a calligrapher. That's why I got those speedball pens. And he used to just do it as a hobby. But he made like hundreds of signs around the house with these quotations that are all hand lettered. And so that was fun. But now it's just like I just want it to be readable. I just want it to be, make sense, carry the story. So there's the writing, and then there's the the just layout of it. Two different things. This says page 1. So I'm on page 3 now, but it doesn't look like page 3 is lining up. Do you have the page 3 with the word balloons?
The page
With the
Alex?
the old man hooked up to the wires.
That's page 4, right?
Oh.
That's page 4.
So do I have? Oh, but we swapped them, didn't we?
Yep. It was page 3. You swapped it with 4.
Page.
And now page 4 is 3 and 3 is 4.
Okay.
Because this is page 3. I have it even right here. It says it.
That's the new page 3. Okay, so I have to relabel these. That's all I got to do. And
yeah.
I have to get
rid of this.
I have to get rid of this layer because I have the wrong word balloons. But I'll bring this into the other document. Always fun when you swap pages at the last minute. Or actually midstream here, but typography. I recommend taking a look at the difference between Marvel and DC lettering, and indie lettering, because sometimes the lettering is just so, I'm going to say indie, that hard to read, and it distracts, and it really detracts.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So, that's. I mean, I'm going to be getting all of our lettering nice because I'm kind of like a nerd. I was going to say expert, but I'm more of a nerd than an expert. And I just know how it looks when it reads, and it's also weird because sometimes we're making changes and to the actual content just based on how it looks. that's another funny thing, like oh, I don't have room for this word balloon here. Well, just change what it says then, so we'll get some other words in there. And that's kind of the process here that we're doing. So let's cut all this, and then we can get rid of layer 2. Delete. And I'm gonna hit save. So now I put in the new inks. I'm going to hit save. And then I'm going to close it, and then I'm going to call it page 4. So we don't have this confusion anymore. We were confused enough for one day. And I should probably close Photoshop and open it again because it's starting to get real slow. You know, remember the whole thing about scratch discs?
Oh, yeah. When you said it made me twitch.
Yeah. And that means like Photoshop is using your available disk space for RAM or ROM.
RAM and ROM. What the hell's the difference?
Random access memory, and ROM is the onboard memory, right? It's a difference. Okay. But now I renumber those pages. So we created the Photoshop files here. Oh, where did it go? I thought I just created a new Photoshop file. I don't see it. Can we go into recently? Recent items. It's okay. Oh, did I? I'm confused. Oh, here it is, right here. I didn't add the word layers. I like those little reminders. And this, of course, is page 4. So let's rename that. Now we'll open page 3 in Photoshop. And I should just be able to paste in the entire layer of text. Ta-da! Wait, I don't want this page again. Oh yeah, this is page 3. So I want page 4 to have the text. The old man is page 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. And the tableau is page 3. Good. Okay. Oh, now I got but you didn't rename them in yours, right?
Those pages were sent before we made that change.
Okay. So 04 and 03. This is the certified. All right, I'm changing those here to avoid any confusion.
Further confusion.
And further confusion.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, we're 5 minutes away from the 3-hour mark. What
wow.
an amazing, 5 minutes. But wow, yeah.
My date and time on here. I'm on this computer. It says it's 2:05. I have to set it. The time now is 12:55, right?
Yeah. But page 1, as I did say, is good to go. I'll be definitely making a scan and getting this to you, Jake, by next Sunday. I'm going to let it cool. I'll probably tinker on it next day or two, just making little additions, adjustments. I pulled out my, see, this is my 50% cool gray color pencil. I like bringing this in just to even smooth out. It's almost like it will kind of come up as a pencil, but it has a little bit of a different texture. So that's one of the reasons I also use color pencils, or black and gray, white color pencils, as well as graphite. The graphite always has a smoother texture, but then when you get the color pencils, there's a gruffier texture. So it'll be interesting because the first 3 pages Alex did are on one type of paper, which I would say has like a smooth tooth, and then he moves to a watercolor. So it's going to be really interesting for me taking that on. But another thing I wanted to just state is that the reason I do this is because once this gets shot and it becomes a black plate, it then has the effect I'm looking for. So I'm thinking in my head, if I do this and then it gets shot and it's just black, because I can do it in Photoshop, I can see how it's all working. I'll do that before I actually send it to you, because I'll have, oh no, wait a second, I'm going to put a little bit more white over here, or more black over here, going from there. Because really at this point, I might be muddling areas with too much gray, and then I need either like a texture pattern like I've been putting in here. So yeah, I'm excited because 1 of 11 pages. So, and I think this is like 45 minutes worth of work. So we can kind of time out the next, that's 10 hours, 3-4 sessions, maybe four 3-hour sessions. So yeah, maybe by the end of January, I have a feeling we'll be closing in, if not completing. Yeah, for the Alex Turbin penciled The Duke story, 11 pages. So let me just do my closeout real quick. Good God. Oh, here it is. Everything's moved around a little. So as we said in the beginning, but just want to reiterate, Crom Anthology #1 is out there in the wild. It has been released. It's still available. There's still a $5 discount till the end of the year. 256 pages, black and white sword and sorcery goodness. Just the beginning. Crom Anthology #2 is already underway. I haven't made any announcements on anything specific, because I will be releasing all of that at the first week of January 2022. And because there's so much interest in participating, contributing, collaborating going on, most definitely Crom Anthology #3 will already be up and underway towards the end of the year, or middle to end of the year this year is that thing. So there's definitely next year we're going to see #2, and #3 will be completely moving. And that is all by design, that this is all being curated by me. In other words, all these stories are slotted in a nice little way of kind of reading different types of material to get an overall sense of what I'm hoping people get more and more obsessed with, as I have become and still are becoming. But yeah. I even started doing sketches for the next cover, so I'm pretty excited. Let me see if I can pull this out here. Oh man, I have to do this.
I have a question when you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who all is working on sequences?
Oh, I'm not releasing that information yet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not.
That's all right.
It's only because the big thing I have to get people to understand is my process in curating the book. So I am not releasing work just because it's been submitted on time per se. I really want stories. Like here's a really good example. And it was not by design. It was definitely by the fact that, I went too far. So I work with Jason Schoonover on a story called Cromdahar, which is our version of a Crom fairy tale that takes place in modern times, based on the Kandahar giant in Afghanistan. Now, I have also put in Sinbad the Sailor, which is based on a book that's coming out in January from cromthebarbarian.com, or Crom Published. One of the first female comic book artists did illustrate as a comic book. Her name was Lillian Chesney, Arabian Nights, Golden Age, 1943. So it's full color, comes out in full color as a collection. But I wanted to see it in black and white. So here's a fairy tale, which is basically the birth of sword and sorcery. Like, you take this and Norse mythology, Icelandic sagas, and you're pretty much rolling now with sword and sorcery tales that you would have read in Weird Tales. So that story literally runs into Jason Schoonover and I's Crom the Heart. And that's a curated decision that I found and I'm super excited about. But it happens often through here. I've actually gotten a couple of comments from people about how well the book reads with so much material that's obviously not of the same style, but still holds the sword and sorcery Crom-centric context. So that's one of the things I gotta figure out how to explain to people and get them prepared for, because I find a lot of indie books, anthology books, sort of just accept stuff and slot it as is, and then you get this nice potpourri of everything. These are going to be highly curated. So, and because I actually dropped 2 stories for this book because I just didn't fit at this time, but I want to see if those creators and other creators can kind of work towards that area. But super excited. But this is going to be kind of the inspiration for my second cover. Only by the smoke is going to hold the title is what I want to kind of work with. But I did the album cover for one of my friend's bands, Kohotech, which is a noise prog fusion kind of thing. Was here for the live recording, and of course did the cover when they released it. And of course he wanted me to do what I did best, which was the sword and sorcery thing. So I put this together. It's actually really cool. It's actually another friend of ours who did Noah did the photograph from that. Yeah. So this is a really exciting thing going forward. But that's all I got, Jake. Let these people get back to reading comics, making them if they choose.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Check out our other streams. We have the Comics That Influence, where we do flip throughs of classic indie comics and great stuff. And you can see our creator interviews anytime at our Indie Creator Exchange on our other channel. Check back right here on Sundays, 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to do another couple hours next week and shoot the breeze.
Hell yeah.
Thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody.
And thank you for hanging out on the live stream here on YouTube, guys. We always enjoy having you make your comments, or at least knowing that you're there with us in the creative process. So thank you very much. And Jake, I'll see you next Sunday.
All right, chill.